The door stayed open for less than a second, but that second was enough to pull Emma Carter out of the careful life she had built around herself. The rain came down hard, loud enough to drown out her thoughts. Emma stood on the porch of her small suburban home in Columbus, Ohio, one hand gripping a grocery bag, the other searching for her keys. Her phone buzzed again in her pocket. She ignored it. Some messages were easier to avoid than answer. Delivery for Carter. A man's voice said behind her. Emma turned quickly, her heart jumping. She hadn't heard footsteps. A delivery truck idled at the curb, blinkers flashing in the gray afternoon. The man standing there wore a simple jacket and carried a medium box. His name tag said Noah. "Yes, that's me," she said. "You can leave it there." He smiled, polite and calm, and handed the box to her. His eyes were steady, not rushed, like he wasn't in a hurry to escape the rain or the moment. Emma stepped inside to set the box down. The door stayed open without her noticing. The sound of rain followed her in, tapping softly against the hardwood floor. She turned back and froze. Noah stood just inside the doorway. "I'm sorry," he said right away, stepping back. "I thought you asked me to bring it in. I didn't mean to cross a line." For a brief moment, Emma's chest tightened. Not with fear, but with surprise. No one ever crossed into her space anymore. She had made sure of that. "It's okay," she said after a pause. "I should have been clearer." Noah nodded, clearly relieved. He placed the box down carefully and turned toward the door again. "I'll get out of your way." Thunder cracked outside, sharp and sudden. The rain grew heavier, the sky darker. Noah stopped, glanced at the porch. Then back at Emma. "Looks like it's coming down pretty hard," he said. Emma followed his gaze. The street was already flooding. The wind pushed rain sideways. "You can wait a minute," she said, surprising herself. "It'll pass." He hesitated, then nodded. "Thanks. I appreciate that." They stood a few feet apart, the house quiet except for the storm. Emma noticed things she hadn't noticed in months, the sound of another person breathing, the weight of shared silence. Her home had felt like a storage space for memories lately. It's not a place meant for living. Noah leaned lightly against the doorframe, careful not to move too far in. "I promise I don't usually step into people's houses," he said, smiling. Emma let out a small laugh. It came easier than she expected. "I figured." The laughter faded, but the ease stayed. "I'm Emma," she said. "Noah." They shook hands briefly. His grip was warm, steady, normal. That alone felt strange. The rain showed no sign of stopping. Minutes passed. So Noah said, breaking the silence, "Long day." Emma nodded. "Long year." The words slipped out before she could stop them. She waited for regret, but none came. He didn't push. Just nodded. "Yeah, I get that." She studied him for a moment. He looked like someone who had learned how to listen, not just wait to speak. "I used to teach literature," she said. "High school." Then everything went remote. Then everything else fell apart. Noah glanced around the room, respectful. "That explains the books." Shelves lined the walls. Some were neat. Others were messy, half-packed, like she never decided whether to stay or leave. "And you?" "She asked deliveries by day," he said. "Music at night. Or at least I used to play." "What happened?" He shrugged. "Life. Loss. Same story, different details." Emma felt something shift inside her. Not attraction yet. Something quieter. Recognition. The storm softened, turning from heavy rain to a steady drizzle. Still, neither of them moved. Emma thought about the house before the divorce. How loud it used to be. How silence had once felt peaceful, not heavy. "I don't usually invite strangers in," she said. "I don't usually stay," Noah replied. Their eyes met. And for a second, the space between them felt charged not with danger, but with possibility. Emma looked away first. "You should probably get going soon." He nodded, understanding the line she was drawing. "Yeah, I should." He stepped toward the door, then paused. "Can I say something honest?" She hesitated, then nodded. "When I walked in, he said carefully. I realized how rare it is to be let into someone's space at all, even by accident. Emma felt her throat tighten. It wasn't really an accident. Noah looked at her, surprised but gentle. Then thank you. He opened the door. The rain had slowed to a mist. He stepped outside, then turned back. Take care, Emma. You too, Noah. The door closed softly. Emma leaned against it, her heart beating faster than it had all day. The house felt different, now not full, but not empty either. She walked to the window and watched him reach his truck. He glanced back once, just once, then drove away. Emma stood there long after the sound of the engine faded. She didn't smile. She didn't sigh. She simply stood still, letting the moment settle. For the first time in months, she didn't rush to lock the door because some doors, she realized, don't open to let danger in. Sometimes they open to remind you that you're still alive. The next week, the sky was clear, but Emma Carter felt the same nervous flutter she had felt the first time. She was at the door again, groceries in hand, checking her mailbox for the delivery she had ordered online. The sound of tires on wet pavement, the soft click of a truck door, made her heart skip. She opened the door without thinking, letting the sunlight flood inside. And there he was, Noah, standing there with a box in his hands, rainless now, but the same calm, easy smile she remembered. Her chest tightened. She hadn't expected him, yet seeing him made the quiet house feel warmer, almost alive. Delivery for Carter, he said, as if it were a daily ritual, though neither of them had confirmed anything about it. Yes, she replied, her voice steadier than before. Come in, if you want. He glanced at the open door, hesitant, then stepped inside lightly, careful to respect her space. The air smelled faintly of sunlight and pine, a soft contrast to the stormy day she remembered. Emma set the groceries down, and they both paused, unsure what to say. The silence wasn't uncomfortable this time. It had a rhythm, like a heartbeat they were both listening to. Noah's eyes moved around the living room, taking in the books, the photographs, the quiet evidence of a life slowly rebuilding itself. Emma watched him, noting the way he adjusted the box in his hands. The small gestures that made him human and approachable, unlike the strangers she usually met. You look different, she said finally, a teasing tone slipping in without her realizing. Noah. He looked up, eyebrows raised. Emma, she corrected herself, smiling. You seem lighter, somehow, less like you're carrying the whole world. He laughed softly, a sound that made the room feel fuller. Maybe that's because you let me in, even if it was just for a moment. Emma's stomach fluttered. The last few months had been a careful dance of solitude, walls built high and strong. Yet here he was, not demanding, not rushing, just present. She realized how rare it was to find someone who could enter a life without forcing it open. They talked slowly at first about the small things. The weather, the way her town had changed, the delivery system's efficiency or lack of it. Noah shared stories about the neighborhoods he delivered to, the people he met, the moments that made a job more than a paycheck. Emma listened, finding herself laughing more easily than she had in months, the sounds surprising her. Time passed unnoticed. The clock ticked on the wall, but it didn't matter. The house felt like a temporary bubble outside of schedules, outside of obligations. Then the conversation deepened. Noah spoke quietly about his late mother, the way music had once been a refuge, the nights he spent playing guitar and thinking about the past. Emma shared fragments of her own life, how teaching literature had been more than a job, how her divorce had left her cautious, hesitant to let anyone in, how she sometimes felt like she was still waiting for life to resume. There was no rush, no pressure. Each sentence built a bridge between them, and Emma felt the weight she carried lighten just a little. She hadn't realized how much she had missed the simple connection of being understood without explanation, of someone noticing without demanding. A soft breeze drifted through the open door, carrying the scent of blooming flowers from the yard. It felt like a gentle invitation, a signal that the moment didn't have to end. Emma wanted to say something to prolong the pause, to capture the rare sense of ease she hadn't felt in a long time. "I should let you go," she said eventually, though her voice was reluctant. "I shouldn't keep you." Noah shook his head, smiling faintly. "I don't mind." "Not yet." Emma hesitated, then nodded. The door was still open, letting in light and possibility. He shifted slightly, his gaze meeting hers, and for a fleeting moment, the quiet between them carried a weight neither had expected. "I like moments like this," he said. "When things aren't rushed, when people just exist together for a little while. It doesn't happen often." Emma felt warmth in her chest. "It doesn't." They didn't touch, didn't step closer, but the presence of each other felt intimate in its own way. It was a connection built on trust, on recognition, on the subtle understanding that both had been waiting for someone who could walk into a moment without disturbing the balance of their lives. Finally, Noah glanced at the clock. "I should probably finish my route," he said, though his smile lingered. Emma nodded, feeling a pang of disappointment. "Take care, Noah." "You too, Emma." He stepped toward the door, hesitated, then opened it. They shared a brief look, unspoken words hanging between them, words of possibility, curiosity, and quiet hope. Noah walked out into the sunlight, leaving the door open just a little. He didn't turn back, but Emma could feel the echo of his presence in the room. She closed the door slowly, savoring the emptiness that now felt less heavy, less lonely. The air in the house seemed warmer, the space more welcoming. Emma realized that leaving her door open both literally and figuratively wasn't about carelessness. It was about choice. About letting life, and maybe even love, find its way in when she least expected it. That evening, Emma sat by the window, looking out at the street and remembering the way Noah had stood there, calm and kind. The thought made her smile softly. She realized that sometimes the right people didn't force themselves into your life. They simply noticed the door you forgot to close and stepped in gently, leaving the possibility of something more lingering long after they were gone. The week after, when another delivery arrived, she opened the door with a quiet hope. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew one thing: leaving the door open, even for a moment, could change everything. Because the door wasn't just a door anymore. It was a symbol of chance, of timing, of courage. And when Noah stepped in again, she felt that spark of curiosity and anticipation, the kind that reminded her that life could still surprise and hearts could still heal. Emma smiled, standing in the sunlight, and realized that sometimes a simple open door was all it took to invite warmth back into a life that had almost forgotten how to hope.